Good morning, America. I'm Rob the accountant. I like to help people build companies while finding solutions to problems that come your way. Have a question? Stop by robtheaccountant.com, scroll halfway down, and toss me an email. I'm out this wonderful Wednesday morning, tossing the ball with the Sammy Bear. Let's see if we can pick him up coming around here somewhere. There he is. Hasn't been feeling very good. I think he got a little bug hit him, mosquito bug, and gave him a little allergic reaction. So he's trying to work through that. And I got attacked by a rose bush last week on that job, and gave me this nasty rose infection. I think it's called sporocrositis or something, but it was awful. It just made my whole body flare up. It was terrible. But anyways, what are we talking about today? Wow, what a week. Holy cow. Okay, so first, as everybody knows, I'm a Democrat. I bleed blue. I vote purple. I bleed blue. I vote purple. That means that I'm a registered Democrat, nearly have been for my whole life, but I vote for Republicans quite a bit. And red and blue is purple, and I think that's where we need to be in America, because each side on its own is just a little bit too crazy for me, okay? But this week has been a great week, and I got to keep my eye on my dog, and I got deers running around here, little baby deers. Man, look at the sky. Let's take a look. Where did it go? Where is it? Oh, where's my sky? Oh, there we are. There's my sky over there. Well, it's not really coming in the same way. Anyways, it's beautiful right over there. What a week. Donald Trump, okay? I want to thank him. What a guy. Like, seriously. You know, I got some problems with the immigrants coming in from South Africa. We'll talk about that in another podcast, okay? But I understand the reasoning behind why he's doing that. But fundamentally, holy cow, in the Middle East. First of all, we have a president that is putting America first. We should not... Hey, listen, I have a lot of Jewish friends. I love them all. They're great people. And none of them condone the violence. They all have children here. None of them condone the violence that we're seeing in Gaza. And just on that, whatever you want to call it, it's just terrible, awful. And by the way, those people haven't had an election since 2006. Just on another point, like Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky has suspended elections in that country too. And so that brings me back to Saudi Arabia and Israel, Syria, and the Middle East. What a great job Donald Trump is doing. President Trump. Let me call him his name. President Trump. What a great job you're doing. Why are you doing a great job? Okay. So I'm always about life first. And Jamal Khashoggi, whatever. I probably shouldn't say it like that. He's an American citizen and journalist at the Washington Post. And he was killed by Saudi agents going to get a marriage proposal to bring his wife to America. And, rumors have it, whether it's true or not, that, that went all the way up to the crown prince. And, for me I live in America, so I was accustomed and raised on this idea that we're all free and that Americans have the ability to do what they want. And a couple of those things, before we get back to Saudi Arabia, is I see a lot of negative comments about Donald Trump trying to get the release of the American-Israeli soldier, as if, why all these comments are, why is he fighting for, look, we got Americans fighting in Ukraine, we got Americans fighting in Russia. Americans can go and really fight anywhere. They're just not allowed to fight against us. And I don't have a problem. That's the thing about being free, is if you're really free, you can make these decisions, bad, good, indifferent. But, fundamentally, if you go fight and you fight for Ukraine, you get your ass kicked by the Russians, or you go fight for Russia and get your ass kicked by the Ukrainians, you are bound by the accountability of your choice. So I don't have a crap, but I just don't like this idea that we have Americans here, complaining. You might not like who the actor's fighting for, but they're a freaking American. And when they're an American and somebody's holding them, we should get them back. I don't give a crap where they are. We should always get them back. That's just a fact. That's the benefit of being an American. So back to Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia. wow, this guy is just, come on, I can't get it anywhere on my camera to come in like I wanted to. But Saudi Arabia, putting aside the killing of an American journalist, they have chosen not to normalize relationships with Israel. They have chosen to stand with the people of Gaza. They have chosen to push President Trump into removing sanctions. Again, Americans don't understand the sanctions, okay? But let's put it like this. When you have a judgment in America and, the banks lock all your accounts, that's sanctions on the real world stage. And when you do that to a country, they're going to go into poverty. They're going to not be able to buy their food. They're going to be able to work with what they have. They have no means for credit. And sanctions is just a death knell to anyone who's not American, because Americans never get sanctioned. And even if the world tried to sanction us, well, good luck. We got money. So, to see Donald Trump out there normalizing relationships with the prince, okay, seeing Saudi Arabia standing up for people, okay, hey, I got a little bit of a downside on you killing an American, but listen, stand up. And that's the thing I think we have to understand is we've been fighting wars in the Middle East for the last 20 years. Nobody knows why. Why? I mean, come on. Fundamentally, America as a whole seems to just have a problem with brown people as a whole. Why are we out in the Middle East trying to save all these people? And then we're spending billions of dollars on planes, trains, automobiles, not really, planes and ships and war machines. What, to kill more people? Why? What's the point? All this money that is going to secure military equipment could be going to pay for healthcare for Americans. So I think it's wonderful for President Trump to allow Saudi Arabia to convince him to remove sanctions in Syria, to allow the government of whoever the new guy is there. I don't know. It's because it's been so long. It's not really my thing. Again, I'm just not from the Middle East. I focus more on American stuff. But to see that, and then we come back to the problem of, hey, it looks like the Middle East can be a country, a whole region that helps foster the economic conditions of America, where we can have trade back and forth. I mean, why not? Why not? What have we been fighting all these people for? And so that brings me back to Israel and Bibi and the idea that he says he's going to defy Trump. He's not saying it that way, but Trump wants a ceasefire in Gaza. And what Bibi is telling his very radical cabinet is, yeah, we'll give Trump a ceasefire, but we're not going to stop the war. And I would say to you, President Trump, there has to become some accountability. If people can't find peace, and they can't find love, and they can't find harmony, then we should stop giving them our weapons. We don't have to make Israel a defenseless state. That's just ridiculous. But until they get a new prime minister who cares about Jewish ideology and not so much Zionism, then I don't see why America is going to continue to fund these kind of operations. And President Trump, what is going to happen is you're going to go out here, make these deals with Saudi Arabia, get Syria, and then what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a ghost mission against America, right? And sadly, just like Israel attacked the Liberty back in its day, it's going to see its condition of existence is that it doesn't have an existence unless America's on a war machine. That's sadly how the state of Israel came to be, is on a war machine. But I surmise that we should be looking at the state of Israel in a different context, okay? So one of the things that I say here is my belief structure is not really a religious guy, but I believe in Jesus Christ, the Savior of the Lord, way to get to heaven and shit. Muslims, they kind of believe in our same God, just in a different manner. And the Jewish people have the Torah, which is the first 4 chapters of the King James Bible. So I guess, we're all literally having a little bit of the similarities in all of our religious context. But for me, I don't like organized religion. But I would say this. We're all in agreement that there was a flood, right? A big flood on this planet, right? And whatever the reason is, we don't know. Who cares? We know there was a flood in the world. So, okay, yeah, I know it's so stupid. I know all you people are going to have a million reasons to come and say this, but I just don't get it. Well, how do we know that Israel is not actually in the United States of America? Exactly, yeah, right. How do we not know that Israel, the country, in biblical times is not in the United States of America. We don't. The world was flooded. I mean, we don't know what happened to the dinosaurs. We had no GPS back then. We are talking before Christ, BC. We can't even get a book written in the last 100 years that is actually factually correct. One book that's factually correct in all the things. When you got 100 books and you get to the factually correct aspect of all those books together, but fundamentally, you're not going to get accuracy. Go find your ball. You're not going to go find accuracy, exclusively from one book. So how's this idea? And you know what I always say to people is you go to Israel and the Middle East as a whole, I mean, I'm not going to be a jerk, okay? But we got the Bahamas, right? We got the Bahamas and the Caribbean. So you want to tell me, okay? Just hear me out. I'm sorry. I'm not being, what's that word? The sky is just beautiful today. Man, the pinks just don't come in. But I don't understand is I'm not being blasphemous. Is that what blasphemous? Ugh. How do you have the world flooded and then you go to the driest place in the planet with the saltiest motherfucking ocean or sea, whatever you want to call it, and you say, yeah, that's where God's coming back. Jesus is coming back there. He's not coming back to the middle of the Caribbean where it's beautiful or up there in the Mediterranean where it's beautiful. No, he's gonna pop his perch in the middle of the fucking desert where there's no fresh water. I'm just saying this whole ideology of where the world exists or where the world doesn't exist, it's so stupid when man barely lives past 90. Everybody go out here, all this money we spend, all these weapons, we're so cool, we can snipe people, we can kill people, and we barely got 20 years when you're a child, and then you got maybe 60 years as an adult, and then 20 years as a grandparent wearing diapers again. So basically the average human being has 40 years to live. And what, we spend all that time just killing people? So I applaud Donald Trump today. I applaud President Donald Trump, because he's trying to make peace. And peace means that you stop killing your neighbors. And, we don't have to agree with Saudi Arabia. We don't have to agree with Iran, which, by the way, the thing about Iran, let's get on that real quick. Iran, for the first 170 years in America, 1900 to 1950, was supported by America. They had our planes, they had our tanks. Why? Because we supported the Shah. Why do we support the Shah? Because the Shah sold out his people to us, right? And so then what happened is the Islamic Revolution occurred, where the people, whether we agree or not, whether they're Jesus lovers or Jewish lovers or, well, in this case, Islam lovers, Muslim lovers, they had an Islamic Revolution. And I just want to make sure my clock's going. The Islamic Revolution won, just like the Chinese Communist Party won in China. And suddenly then we're an enemy. They're an enemy of ours. Well, they're kind of an enemy because they took a bunch of people hostage. They didn't like all the years of brutality that America supported. America's had a long history of supporting brutal regimes that go in and, as part of their colonialization process, just literally ethnically cleanse people. Like this whole idea that ethnic cleansing is exclusively Russia or China. No, it's not. At the end of World War II, Americans stormed the barracks at one of the concentration camps, and they executed summarily 180 guards. Just boom, put them all down. That's what you do in warfare. You kill your enemy. So, fundamentally, it just seems that with regards to Iran, they never had a problem with us. They had a problem with the guy who was selling out their country to us. And they took some actions, and they improperly took some Americans, which I advise anyone, you probably shouldn't take Americans. It's just not a good thing, but they did. And now we're going to have maybe peace with them. And the only obstacle to that peace, which again, is just really shouldn't even be an obstacle. You shouldn't have a 6 million people, an obstacle to a country of 46 or 48 million people. But why? Why does America want to go to war with Iran? Because the Prime Minister of Israel wants a greater Zionist state at the expense of American lives? The expense of American infrastructure? Our blood should be sacrificed for why? We're free over here. We won our battle, 200 plus years ago. So I just hope and I pray that President Donald Trump stays the course, that he contains Bibi Netanyahu, whatever his name is. I'm sorry, I'm just not good with the whole Middle East thing. I don't really know any Muslim names either. And we see for the first time economic power rise in the Middle East so that people can stop living in sand huts and they can start seeing the world for what I believe should be the world, is for everyone to find the world on an individual basis. Which brings me back to the idea of American hope and the Statue of Liberty and France's involvement in America and helping us gain our freedom. My thought is, going forward, President Donald Trump, that any ally of the United States of America, whether it's a royalty, whether it's a quasi-dictatorship, whatever the condition is that we need to sell them weapons, our condition should be that those citizens in that country enjoy a Bill of Rights to the extent possible, right? To the extent where whatever that leader doesn't feel like it's going to overturn them, but so it gives them a fundamental understanding of basic rights and the will to want to get out there every day and pursue something for themselves. Who wants to go and work every day for somebody else and then, suffer your whole life and then you have none of the upside of it? Nobody wants to do that. So I think that fundamentally one of the things, here you go, buddy. Let's see if we can get him here. You went the wrong way, Sammy Bear. Yeah, go find it. We not only have the Bill of Rights, but some basic form of the U.S. Constitution. If our Bill of Rights and our Constitution is good for us, then Rob speaks, Rob says as a New Yorker, Rob says as an American, that everybody in the world deserves these same rights. Everybody in the world deserves the same equal human rights. And, I'll leave everybody with this, okay? We go, and there's a funny saying, is that at nighttime when the lights go out, we're all black, right? And I had a lady of mine when I said that, and she said, and inside out, we're all white. And that's true. When the night comes and the lights go off, we all look the same. And when you fold our insides out, we all look the same again. Because at the end of the day, we are all humans. And we're letting stupid, fantasy, fake, okay, I'm sorry, fake, because you know what? I've seen more versions of Santa Claus than I've seen of my belief structure or, anybody else's belief structure out there. Like, we don't have a whole bunch of people saying, hey, I was talking to the dead last night and Jesus sent a signal and, told me Aunt Mary was going to be great. We don't have any of that, right? So, we have no freaking proof. That's the basis of faith. But faith should not be a principle of law. Law is either a law that enshrines people's ability to do something or restricts people's ability to do something. And Rob speaks and Rob says that we should always be enshrining laws that allow people to have less restrictions. I'm Rob. Bye for now. Hope to talk to you guys soon and have a great week.